So for this video, I'm just going to show you how to feed a hedge that was planted about 18 months ago. So the hedge in question here is a golden privet. So with that hard frost over the winter, it just caused it to lose all its leaf. But there's no need to worry. You can see there's lovely fresh buds just starting to fill there. So now is the absolute perfect time to get in behind it with a good feed and really put a bit of energy into it. So we take a good handful like this of the chicken shit. So it's a really generous handful. Now we'll just throw it at the base of them. Now the reason I'd like people to get out into their garden and do this now, as opposed to in a few weeks' time, is because if we hit really dry weather like we have done for the last few springs, the danger is that that stuff stays intact until it gets moisture. Now of course you can hose it down, but sometimes that's not always practical. So by putting out the poultry manure a little bit earlier than maybe you'd anticipated putting it out, it gives it plenty of time to get nice and wet and for the nutrient to wash into the ground. So when that plant starts to grow, the ground is already fully charged. The danger of doing it when you see the plant starting to grow, when it's a little bit further down the track, is it can take a couple of weeks for the nutrient really to get into the soil. So now is the time to do it, when the days are still short and there's still a lot of moisture knocking about, and it won't get into the plant too quickly. Don't worry about that. So the great thing about using poultry manure as opposed to other chemical synthetic ones is overfeeding is damn near impossible. If you look at its NPK rating, it's 4 parts nitrogen, 1 part phosphorus and 2 parts potassium. So a chemical one would typically be something like 10 parts 10, 10, like 10, 10, 20 or 18, 6, 12. So overfeeding is very, very easily done. Whereas with this one you can afford, it's a little bit more suitable to the amateur user. But the great thing about poultry manure as opposed to synthetics is it's a lot higher in micronutrients and things like calcium, magnesium and all the little bits along. And it's also adding a bit of live biology into the soil and organic matter, which is going to have a long-lasting effect long after the point where the hedges thrive because of the access to nutrients. Soils that are higher in organic matter, they don't dry out as quickly. So that makes it's absolutely brilliant, because we tend to be having a dry spell every summer now. So a soil that retains moisture is going to perform much better, and it's going to keep the plant, the hedge, the tree, the shrub, whatever it is you're planting in good stead. So that's what I did. I just put 1 handful around, but I'm going to do the same again in about 6 weeks' time. So little and often really is the way to do this. Little and often, little and often, little and often. So that's typical of the amount of feed I put down around an 18-month-old hedge, or a hedge planted maybe last summer or last spring. So thanks for watching.